because the only person who don't know who the black man is the black man. This is gonna change your life tonight. Everybody wants you but us. And so I'm trying to get us to look at that and to recognize that, we talk about that the mother is the first teacher. That's true. So we can't blame our fathers with all of the blame for maybe not being with our mothers. Most of what we know about our fathers was told to us by our mothers. And in doing that, it's created a lot of tension between our sons and their fathers, our daughters and their fathers. Because we don't know what life was like 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. Many of you young people don't know what it was like. You know how hard it is now. You know how the enemy, the police, and everybody's trying to kill you now. So imagine what it was 30, 40, 50 years ago. It was very, very difficult. And we have lived in a society where it has appeared that everybody is supporting us and loves us as black women. But that isn't true. They have only used us to be against you. And they have used us to keep many of our families separated so that they could provide for us what they have prevented our men from providing for us. And so it's been a hard time. And the fact that you're still here and that you're still beautiful and that you're still the best is just a testimony to your strength. And I say all the time, we know that God is black. And we are very blessed because the closest to God we may ever get is just being with a black man. Since you in his image, we're not in his image. And you got brothers out here running around talking about the black woman is God. That's the biggest lie, and it's ridiculous to even say that. No other culture is going around pushing the woman before the man except in our community. We're not better than you. Most of the time, we're not even good as you. But you have been so tampered with mentally, and the principles that you stand for have been removed. They've been rushed away, pushed away, threatened away to keep you from being the great man that you can be if you had the knowledge of how to do that and the knowledge of what put you in that condition to begin with. So it's a hard work, as I said. We have to start trying to do the things that are going to allow us to survive. Now, another problem that we have is that right now on the Instagrams and all of that stuff that y'all look at all day and every day on your phones, is filled with multiple, probably tens or hundreds of pictures of black women, black females, black girls, bent over with their pants pulled down, shaking their naked behind to the camera. That is the image that people all over the world see black women in America as. That's not me. That's not any of my associates or friends or sisters, anything. But that image gets the most attention. Now, I don't know how we got to that it would be okay or cute or anything to bend over and shake our naked behind. Our little girls are doing it, our teens, our adults, and even our senior sisters. Everybody's out there trying to show their naked butt. I don't know well, I do know what it originated from. I do understand that. But it's been a very testing thing to see that, knowing that when I mention it, everybody get mad at me. And I'm I'm disturbed about that. We are into a lot of self-worship instead of doing nation building, trying to rebuild our children, trying to reparent our children, the ones that we have allowed to get on the wrong path. All of us have so many emotional issues. We all got PTSD. I say that all the time. And so it's very difficult. A man can rise no higher than his woman. Those are the teachings that Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was my teacher. I got the same teacher Malcolm had. I had the same teacher Muhammad Ali, Khalid Muhammad, Louis Farrakhan. The greatest people that you all, frustrating for me to see people say that they love Malcolm as a brother, but they don't love everything he taught. And I know for a fact that if Malcolm was alive today and trying to teach the brothers or the sisters, that most of us will be disagreeing with him and telling him we think he should do it a different way. That's how it is. Yeah. But as I said, my subject has been the Black woman and the Black man, because I know most about us. I think if we as Black women would stop taking our men to follow us in our low desires, that he would stop his woman, his mother, his girlfriend, his sister, his daughter from going online and shaking her naked behind to the whole world. But because you all are so mired in your own low desires, nobody has said anything about that, or that it's wrong, or that Black women need to stop doing that, or that it's not just disrespectful to self, it's disrespectful to our entire community. So let me hear you. Let me hear what you think about any of that. That's really for women. But because we have been raised with the Western falsehood about intimacy, most people think that polygamy is something to give a man an opportunity to have a lot of women or a lot of wild sex. That's the last thing that is for. Past the last. And so if we have to first learn to get along one-on-one, a man who runs around with a lot of women, seeking them out to be with them or to have sex with them. Well, I said sex about 4 times a night. Anyway, whatever they want to do, it's because he's not sure of his manhood. It's not because he's a dog. A woman who is out doing the same thing with multiple men that she's not connected with or settled down with, she's just scared and insecure and believes that the only value she has is that of being a receptacle. Now, since you mentioned that, I'm going to talk about this very briefly. One of the things that differentiates man from beast, man from animal, is that humans mate face to face. So, when I look at those kind of things, I recognize that we are so far off of the right path. We're going so backwards. So, if the object in life between Black men and Black women is going to be who has the biggest behind, or who can take off all their clothes, or who can slap their buttock cheeks together and make a clapping sound, it's just so ridiculous for us in the condition we're in. Now, we're doing all of those things because we don't have nothing else to do. If we committed to getting some work done, we could utilize our time better. But I've just noticed that regarding the trends that people are practicing now and what you all are showing on the Facebooks and the Instagrams and all of that and the YouTubes and everything. Okay? We're turning into savages, into animals. And so we're starting to behave like animals. And that's something that we should be aware of, that there's no connection there. See, back in the day, Crumb, in the 60s, which I was there, I know who did what, who said what, whatever. I know a whole lot of all that. I don't have to read it. We were in love, and we wanted to groove, and it was "Baby, I Love You," and I spoke of love and tenderness. Baby, come back to me. I want to be with you. Whatever it was. Well, all y'all music is about hate. In fact, y'all call having sex beating it up, choking women, all kind of crazy stuff. Don't have nothing to do with love. That don't even have nothing to do with desire. That's kind of like some different perversions. So these are serious things. When I get an opportunity to talk to you young people, I actually talk to you straight, because you may not ever hear any of this again, and you've got to know this stuff. If you're going to survive, if you're going to know how to pick a woman, if you're going to know how to raise your children, you have to be taught. We have to be taught everything. See, the first thing that the slave master did upon bringing us here and enslaving us was that he had to discredit you. He had to prove to us as Black women that you were unworthy of being loved, that you were no good, couldn't produce, and had no value. They succeeded. And so we still think of you that way today. A lot of us still see you that way. We have to be aware that this is what happened, and that's why it's like this. They forced you to have perverted sex with the slave masters, the white overseers, the white slave masters. Please, they made you have sex with your mother. This is what they did to us. And so the fact today that we all kind of thrown and nutty, it's understandable. That's not to give anyone an excuse not to function. It's just you need to know what went down. And you need to take that burden off yourself, put it where it belongs, and move on. We have got to see you out of a different eye. We stand around all the time saying, yeah, and we tell you all the time, you ought to act like a man. Yeah, you need to just step up to the plate. You need to act like a man. You all have never, that anybody has ever heard, tell us you ought to act like a woman. No matter what we do, you accept us back. With what you understand about affection. So we have to start having a little bit more, like you said, being inquisitive, trying to find out some of the things that have happened to us of why we are in this condition. The Black man is not created without aim and purpose. You're the first man on earth. You are in the image of God. Obviously, he didn't make you first and then didn't give you nothing to do. Your purpose is to teach and set an example of high civilization. First, you have to learn about that. But because you're the best you can change in a twinkling of an eye. Change is not physical, it's mental. You need to be trying to help us recognize that maybe we're on the wrong path and trying to vote our way into success. It's not going to happen. Not as long as their rule is one man, one vote, majority rule. We ain't never going to be the majority in America. We're the majority on the earth, but not in America. And that's used against us, and it used up slaves. We're in the way now. They don't want us here no more. They got a new slave coming in. And he want to be here. He's coming on his own. These immigrants, they coming on their own, you know. And so we complaining all the time. We don't like it no more. Our men took their women. Our women running after their men, all kind of stuff. So we're really in the way now. And we should be about the business of trying to figure out what we're going to try to do for ourselves. Because they don't have a lot of use for us that we'll cooperate with anymore. That time is over. Now, we may think it was COVID or just a certain decision that we made in our brain. But things are different now. It's not gonna ever be back like it was. All them boot dusting and leaf raking jobs we used to accept and be satisfied with, that's over. If we find out somebody did something to us, oh, we're gonna sue them for racism or something. So we're becoming a problem. Okay. So what happens is that you all are proud of the fact that you're in the image of God. Okay? So why wouldn't you want to clean up and assume that position? Not the God, but in the image of God. It's nothing more beautiful than a civilized black man. Our young people, y'all don't have a lot to do. Try to survive financially. And that's very difficult out here. Have seems to start all over, trying to figure out what to do, acknowledge that there's a problem, and then all of us get to the same point. Every generation of people that do that, start all over, start all over, start all over. When we get to that point, we stop, and we just don't do anything else. We kind of fade in with the program. You know why? Because after we've exhausted all of those ideas of that we thought would give us the freedom, justice, and equality, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. All of the things that we want, we thought we could get. And when we found out that we couldn't get it, then we all fall back and stop and don't do anything. Because that's the point where the work begins. And we don't want to do the work. We want to dress in the costumes. We want to wear dreads. We want to talk about the motherland. We want to go visit the motherland. We want to do all of those things, except do the work here that would set us on top. The white man don't have the black man's freedom. The black man got his own freedom. He's just not utilizing it. But it's your freedom. It's your earth. It's your universe. It's your woman. It all belongs to you. And that's why everyone has worked so hard to take it from you. Because the only person who don't know who the black man is the black man. This gonna change your life.